this video finds you. I hope you are doing very well. Today I wanted to talk about the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And yes, I am using the snazzy mic. I have also invested big money into a pop filter so that I can breathe a little bit easier, because you watch all these videos of ASMR artists and they all kill it and you're like, man, that's so easy, I could do that myself. And the truth is, you really have to nail the breathing, because good God, the breathing is not great. In this video you will hear noises, sounds of the outside humans living their lives, and there isn't much I can do about that. Maybe I can fix it afterwards. However, I am making no promises, because I am limited by my skill set when it comes to editing audio, and my skill set is non-existent currently, so I have no hope. Anyway, with the announcement of the newest Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles video game, I wanted to talk, maybe even teach some of you who aren't fully aware of the maybe origin story of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I think that's quite an interesting video. As I was searching for something to nap to the other day, I noticed there isn't many TMNT videos existing out in the world today, so I wanted to stamp my foot in the mud and try to change that for the better. Now, if you are interested, I would highly advise, if it's still on Netflix, it's at least there on my Netflix in the UK, The Toys That Made Us, and watch the TMNT episode, because it gives you an interesting insight into the history of the franchise, and actually made me tear up a little bit. No spoilers, but you know, it's just cool. So let's set off on this adventure together of the history of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I will also be reading from Wikipedia and hopefully splashing in some of my own knowledge here and there, just to spice things up a little bit. However, if none of my knowledge turns up, then do not blame me. Let's go. The Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles first appeared in an American comic book published by Mirage Studios in 1984 in Dover, New Hampshire. The concept arose from a humorous drawing sketched out by Eastman during a casual evening of brainstorming and bad television with Laird, also known as Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird. Using money from a tax refund, together with a loan from Eastman's uncle, the young artists self-published a single-issue comic intended to parody four of the most popular comics of the early 1980s. Things such as Daredevil, New Mutants, and Frank Miller's Ronin were inspirations. In the documentary that's available on Netflix, I'm wondering, yeah, it's kind of a documentary. Kevin Eastman talks about how Jack Kirby, who is notoriously the co-creator of a whole bunch of comic book characters from both Marvel and DC. Jack Kirby was his inspiration and his hero. So that's quite cool, the fact that such a huge franchise, in my life at least, has influenced somebody to create another franchise that I would also say is quite huge in my life as well. The TMNT comic book series has been published in various incarnations by various comic book companies since 1984. I believe currently it's IDW that publishes the comics. I haven't stayed up to date with it, but I am reading The Last Ronin, which is I think it's going to be 5 parts, and the series is based on, I'm not too sure if it's canon or not, but it's based on a story of, in the future, 3 of the 4 brothers are dead and only 1 remains. Now I won't spoil who is left, and I haven't read issue 2 yet, because I'm waiting to have a week off so I can enjoy it. Sounds really stupid, but that's just how I roll. I would highly suggest reading it if you're interested. Again, I've only read issue 1 currently, and I really enjoyed it. It was pretty sick. Anyway, the Turtles started their rise to mainstream success when a licensing agent, Mark Friedman, sought out Eastman and Laird to propose wider merchandising opportunities for the franchise. In 1986, Dark Horse Miniatures produced a set of 15mm, which is approximately 0.6 inches, lead figurines. In January 1987, Eastman and Laird visited the offices of Playmates Toys, a small California toy company that wanted to expand into the action figure market. Development was undertaken by a creative team of companies and individuals. Jerry Sachs, advertising agent of Sachs Findlay Agency, brought together the animators at Murakami Wolf Swenson, headed by Fred Wolf. Wolf and his team combined concepts and ideas with the Playmates marketing crew, headed by Carl Aronian, Vice President of Sales, Richard Salis, and VP of Playmates, Bill Carlson. Aronian brought on several designers and conceptuals, including writer John C. Schulte, and worked out the simple backstory that would live on toy packaging for the entire run of the product and show. Sachs called the high concept pitch Green Against Brick. The sense of humour was honed with the collaboration of the Murakami Wolf Swenson animation firm's writers. Playmates and their team essentially served as associate producers and contributing writers to the miniseries that was first launched in order to sell the action figures. This is where popular phrases like heroes in a half shell and many of the comical catchphrases, including the battle cry, turtle power, came from the writing and conceptualization of this creative team, which I think is super crazy, because I obviously associate all of the popular catchphrases with the Turtles, and it's crazy to think that they were only created in order to try and ship these toys, which is mad. Now, I haven't actually read the original books, so I don't know if they have any sort of similar humour to what they have in the show, but from the documentary that I watched, in my opinion, I don't think it does. I could be wrong, but you never know. Anyway, continuing on. As the series developed, veteran writer Jack Mendelsohn came on board as both a story editor and script writer. David Wise, Michael Charles Hill and Michael Reeves wrote most of the scripts. The miniseries was repeated 3 times before it found an audience. Then, once the toys started selling, the show got syndicated and picked up by Group W, which funded the next round of animation. The show went big boy and went network on CBS. Accompanied by the popular Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1987 TV series and the subsequent action figure line, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles became a mainstream success. At the height of the frenzy in the late 1980s and early 1990s, the Turtles' likenesses could be found on a wide range of children's merchandise, from Pez dispensers to skateboards, breakfast cereal, video games, school supplies, linens, towels, cameras, and it says here, toy shaving kits. Not entirely sure what a toy shaving kit is, and why a toy would feel the need to shave. Moving on. While the animated TV series, which lasted for 10 seasons until 1996, was more light-hearted, the comic book series continued in a much darker and grittier tone. In 1990, a live-action feature film was released, with the Turtles and Splinter being portrayed by actors in partially animatronic suits, created by Jim Henson's Creature Shop. The independent film was very successful, spawning 2 sequels, as well as inspiring a 3-dimensional animated film set in the same continuity, which was released in 2007 under the title TMNT. Now, I didn't know that the animated TMNT film was a continuation. That's pretty cool, if I'm honest. I didn't appreciate that one as much when it first released, and I don't actually know why. I think in most films, like the Turtle films, I want to see big fights, everybody working together as a team, a lot of family sort of coming together. I think that's what makes the Turtles stand out. It's the fact that they're 4 brothers, and yes, they've all got issues and stuff, but when the time comes, everybody has each other's back, and that sort of thing gives me goosebumps at least. And then when you see them all fighting the Foot Clan or something like that, I think that's just so sick, man. After the end of the cartoon series, a live-action series in the vein of the films was created in 1997 in conjunction with Saban Entertainment. Saban Entertainment are the company behind the Power Rangers. The series was called Ninja Turtles: The Next Mutation and introduced a 5th female turtle called Venus de Milo. However, the series was largely unsuccessful and was cancelled after 1 season. Now, in the documentary again, it does talk about this show and the fact that after the 3rd live-action film, it was feared that the franchise was oversaturated and it was dying out, so they thought they need to do something to boost that sort of energy. Now, I could be getting this wrong, I will double check, but Laird did not. And this created a massive rift between the two creators, which, until recently, they went, 20 years, I'd say, without really being friends over this issue. I mean, there's a little bit more to it than that, but if you watch the documentary, you'll get that. Somebody lost out on big money. That's what I'm saying. I don't want to spoil it, but big money. The property lay dormant until 2003, when a new animated TV series, also entitled Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, began to air on Foxbox, 4Kids TV. Over here it was called Fox Kids, and I think that transformed into Jetix. But then I had to wake up early Saturday mornings to catch it on some breakfast show at like 7 o'clock. This show was, for me, the pinnacle of TMNT. The series storyline stuck much closer to the original Mirage comic book series, but was still less violent. It lasted for 7 seasons and 156 episodes, ending in February 2009. In 2009, cable channel Nickelodeon had purchased all of Mirage's rights to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles property. Mirage retained the rights to publish 18 issues a year though the future involvement of Mirage with the Turtles and the future of Mirage Studios itself is no longer clear. Well, I mean, it says that, and then it says Mirage Studios was shut down on December 31st, 2009. So I kind of think the future was clear, unfortunately. Nickelodeon developed a new CGI animated TMNT television series and partnered with fellow Viacom company Paramount Pictures to bring a new TMNT movie to theatres. The TV show premiered on Nickelodeon on September 2012, lasting 5 seasons and ending in 2017. In this show, the original Raphael from the 87 series was voicing Donatello. Rob Paulson, beautiful human being. And for those of you that enjoy The Lord of the Rings, we had Sean Astin voicing Raphael, which is pretty cool. The voice of Leonardo was originally Jason Biggs, I believe, from American Pie in the first season, who fit really well. I really enjoyed his voice. And then I'm sure they replaced him in season 2 with Seth Green, who I wasn't too keen on. I'm yet to give it another try, to be honest. The live action film, produced by Platinum Dunes, Nickelodeon Movies and Paramount Pictures, directed by Jonathan Liebsman and produced by Michael Bay, was released on August 8th, 2014. A sequel, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows, directed by Dave Green, was released in June 2016. Due to financial underperformance, the plans for the third film were cancelled and a new TMNT reboot is in development. A new TV series from Nickelodeon, Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, was released in 2018. It says here is ongoing, but I'm pretty sure it ended a couple of months ago. But they've still got 2 films, or 1 film coming to Netflix. And those newest live action movies I actually really enjoyed them. The designs of the turtles were ridiculed, which okay, they did look a bit nutty at first. But those films really get what the turtles are all about. Like I said earlier, it's about a family coming together and supporting each other and has stupid little jokes that you could easily miss, but it's just, man, it was so good. And everybody had to bash it because Michael Bay was involved, and everybody hates Michael Bay. But, you know, because it was produced by Michael Bay, you ask anybody who directed the Turtles films, I can guarantee 80% of them will go, oh, it was Michael Bay. It wasn't, it was Jonathan Liebesman, who had a passion for the Turtles. And even in the second one, you can see it, you can see all the little Easter eggs popping up left, right and centre. I think the second one was not as good as the first. However, the soundtrack of the second one, my god, so good. I just think that the second one, the ending sort of just happened, and it hyped up the Shredder for the whole film, just for him to get frozen immediately as soon as things start to kick off. And there was no real fights against any foot ninja, which again bothers me. Whatever. So there we have it. That's the history of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, at least in live action form and TV form. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope you've learned something. I really recommend it, man, if you're a fan of this franchise, go watch that documentary on Netflix. It's really good, really good. So yeah, thank you for sticking around. I'm hoping to make more, maybe even TMNT related stuff, maybe do a history of the games. I don't know, the world is my oyster. Look after yourselves, take care of one another, and I'll see you next time.